Hi, in this tutorial I'm going to show you how you can use the layout style block to create layouts in Blockify. So to start, I have already added a column element, and now inside it I'm going to add a text element. Okay, and this one has a bit of spacing in bottom, so I'm just wanna remove it. Okay, now I'm gonna duplicate it as I need two text element to demonstrate the layout options. Now I'm gonna set a background color. Okay, here we go. So the setup for this tutorial is ready. Now back to this column. Okay, so I have selected this column now, and I'm gonna turn on the layout options on this element. And as you can see, as soon as I turn it on, instead of this top down layout, it goes to this side by side layout, because the first option in layout is direction and it is set to by default horizontal, and that's why instead of like vertical layout they go to the horizontal layout. Now I'm gonna show you the different options and how they interact or change the view of content inside this column. So now I have changed the direction to vertical, and the content inside this element has become vertical. In horizontal, this is how they were showing up. In horizontal, reverse, and then we have this vertical reverse. Okay, now I'm gonna make it horizontal, and then the second option is gap. It allows us to add a gap between the elements. And one more thing, when you apply layout options, the direction, the gap, horizontal line and vertical line, these four are going to affect its direct child. Like wherever you are applying these layout options, its direct child is going to get affected. Okay, now we have applied like 18 pixel gap and the direction, and then we have this horizontal align and vertical align option. These two allows us to control the alignment of the child elements. Okay, so now if I like change these to anything, you won't be seeing any kind of difference or anything at all actually. However, let's suppose we had an element inside it, okay, which didn't take, like right now the thing is, if I go to the column and the layout, the horizontal align and vertical align aren't making any kind of changes because there isn't any space available to align them anywhere. Okay, so the horizontally the space is already filled, and same for the vertical as well. However, let's suppose I remove this one, and now we have this one text element inside this column, and if I set its width to 50%, okay, now I have set the width of this text element to 50%, and now inside this column we have this white space. So now we can control where our element is gonna sit and where this white space will be, like how it is going to get divided. So in horizontal axis, I'm gonna click this horizontal align, and now I can control, is it going to stay on start, is it gonna be on end, will it be on center? Okay, and then there is these two options as well. So what are these two options for? Let's suppose our text element had a width of 25, and then there were these two elements. Now I'm again going to select the parent column, and now in horizontal line I can like still do the start and center, but now if I go to the space between, as you can see, like both of these two elements have been pushed to the end and the empty space is in center, as the name specifies space between. Okay, then we have space around, this will distribute the space around this element, and then we have this space evenly, it will evenly distribute the available white space around its children. So that's it, that's how the horizontal line gonna work. Then we have this vertical align, and to demonstrate how this is gonna work, we need a bit of empty height space. And so I'm gonna show you something like this. Suppose we have these three elements, and now I'm gonna decrease. Okay, now as you can see, like we have these three elements, and now if I go to vertical align, let's suppose this one has less content, so it doesn't require this much height. So what we want is, like, we want it to center it around these two elements without having this empty space or empty background color. So in this case, I'm gonna go to the vertical align, and then I can control something like this, center, and stretch will like stretch it up. This is the default actually. This is how, like, when you set to default, this is the default viewer actually stretch. And then we have this baseline, and that's all. The mostly like these three are the ones you're gonna use, or you can just keep it to default. Okay, so this is how you actually use this vertical alignment and all. Then we have this one called size unit, and this is where things actually, like, all these four options actually control the direct child, whereas this size unit actually is for individual element. Okay, so like if the parent is a column, like a layout element, then what you can do is control their sizes using this size unit. As you can see, what is happening is, like, right now we have this empty space, and now the size unit is actually 0. So now if I give it 1, this is gonna take up all the available empty space and increase the width. If I give this one as well 1, now what is going to happen is these two are gonna equally distribute the available white space, empty space. Okay, and if I increase it to 2, this will take a bit more. And if I make this one as well 1, like, they are gonna equally distribute the space available to each of them. Now I'm gonna go and make them full. And now let's suppose sometimes what's gonna happen is, like, if you add an image in between, now as you can see the content is overflowing, and there is no way, like, no matter how many times you apply the size and anything all, like, it has one, and still this image is taking up a lot of space. So it is not complying with our size unit. In this case, if like something like this ever happens, what you can do is simply just go to the size, width, default, and go to the relative, and that's it. Like, keep it to 0, or you can like set it to something like 20% or whatever. Just ensure this element has a size unit of more than 0. Now, cause inside this layout element, this one has size unit of 1, this one also has 1, this one also has 1. So what is going to happen is they are gonna equally distribute the width available in their parent. Okay, and this one also has this margin bottom spacing, bottom spacing, so I'm gonna remove it, and that's all. Okay, and in mobile, as these don't look so good, what we can do is simply just, I'm gonna go to column, and instead of horizontal I can make it vertical. And now because we have changed it to vertical, the width isn't gonna work that kind of way, so I'm just gonna convert this relative 1% to default. Okay, and I'm gonna give it a bit of a ratio to of square 1. Okay, I guess I will have to give it a relative width of maybe 100%. Yeah, so yeah, that's it. Now this is how it is going to look in mobile, and this is how it is going to look on desktop.